It is honestly an honor of mine to say, welcome back to the 6 Feet Apart podcast. It's been a very long time since we've done this, and funny enough, we are not at Yonge and Dundas Square. We're in Oak Ridges, by the Oak Ridges Community Center, and we're at a park that's very close to my home. So the benefit of this is that I can record many of these. I could do like literally one a day in terms of recording. The con is that the scenery has changed. It's not as nice, let's be real. You know what I mean? And the traffic is way lower. So getting somebody to sit here on the podcast may prove to be difficult, but we're going to do what we do best. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out together. Some life updates since you've last seen me. I moved twice, I think. I think the last time, no, I was still in Woodstock, but I never talked about it. And then before that, I was in Waterloo, in Kitchener. And we filmed an episode at the Waterloo University, which was actually a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm interested to see what conversations are going to be like here. And in terms of questions, I mean, I don't really have anything in my mind. I had a few ideas that I wrote down, but I'd have to open up my laptop to find them. Speaking of which, we might be able to do that right now, actually. Hold on. So the coolest thing about this park is that it actually has Wi-Fi. So not only can I look up my notes, like open up Milanote and look at my notes, but I can also, like if I run out of questions or something, or if I have something that I need to look up, I can just open up ChatGPT, Google, really pretty much anything, and check it out. Okay, so some of the topics that I was thinking about were human connections and struggles, regret and redemption, identity and purpose, society and change. When was the last time you felt truly seen? What's something you wish more people understood about you? What keeps you up at night? And what does love mean to you right now? I think those are some pretty good questions. What's a decision you wish you could undo? Have you ever forgiven someone who didn't deserve it? And when did you realize you needed to change? Who are you when no one's watching? What's one moment that shaped you forever? And what's your biggest internal battle these days? What's something you think our generation will regret? What gives you hope for the future? And if you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what would you say? I like that one. If you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what would you say? Yeah, let's do that. We'll start with, when was the last time you felt truly seen? What's a decision you wish you can undo? What's one moment that shaped, what's your internal battle these days? Okay, when was the last time you felt seen? What's one decision you wish you could undo? What's your biggest internal battle these days? And if you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what would you say? Okay, let's try that. I'm not going to remember that. I'm not going to remember that at all. When was the last time you felt truly seen? What's a decision you wish you could undo? What's your biggest internal battle these days? And if you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what would you say? Okay, we're going to try. The other thing that's different about this spot is I feel very awkward waving people down. I mean, there's a lot of people sort of around me. And it does feel awkward. It feels more awkward. Would you like to sit and have a conversation?
What is it about? Where is it?
It's about you.
Where do you cast it?
YouTube.
YouTube. You're filming it too?
Yes.
How long is it?
It's as long as you want it to be. It's just a conversation. I'm going to ask you, when was the last time you felt truly seen? Do you want to have a seat? Do you want to talk? It could be 1 minute, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, whatever you want. So you don't have to, but I recommend you put headphones on because it's going to be very easy for us to hear each other.
Recording?
Yeah, we're already recording.
Okay. But you're not sharing the parts before this?
Oh, no, I'll edit it. I'll cut it
Okay.
before you sat down and us chatting and all that.
Okay.
So what's your name? Who are you?
My name is Shiva. I'm dietitian.
Shiva, and you're a dietitian.
Yes.
Ooh, what's something that most people get wrong about their diet?
Oh my God. So I love everything about my job but the word diet. Because I don't recommend dieting.
Okay.
So that's the conversation I have day in and day out with my patients about how important it is to trust your body rather than getting that information just from outside and tell your body this is enough and that's how much you deserve.
Okay.
Because then your body is not going to trust you,
Yeah.
so it's not going to use that energy.
Interesting. Okay.
So it goes to the starvation mode.
That makes sense.
Under-eating and dieting is what most people are suffering from.
That makes sense.
And COVID made it worse. Getting back to that conversation. Because food is our comfort.
Yeah, because we're all stuck at home and then we're binging and then we're not being active. So then
Started
it's
baking.
like, yeah.
And I realized that, okay, it took longer than what we expected. And then you're not moving as much, early COVID. And then what happened was that people turned to food instead of a lot of other fun and activities and socialization that they had before COVID.
Yep.
That made it harder. So they turned
100%.
to food as comfort.
100%. I'm guilty of that.
We are all.
I stress eat. So if I'm super stressed out, I like binge. And then I feel terrible
much too.
afterwards, but
Guilt, and then what? What happens after the guilt?
shame.
Shame, and then you're not serving the body best if you're feeling shame.
100%. And then you feel lethargic, you're very like heavy. And then you're like, okay, well, I feel bad, so I'm going to sleep. And you just ate.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not good at
So
all.
you're not gonna plan something fun if you are shaming about your body.
Exactly.
What you ate.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, you're like, if you tell yourself that I deserve this food, I enjoyed it, and now I'm gonna go get active outside and enjoy that movement, and your body can deal with that food.
That makes sense. How many patients do you serve right now? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, sure. I work 6 days a week, so
Okay.
yeah.
Busy.
Yeah,
Working hard.
full-time, yeah, plus my private practice, so I see patients every day.
And what's the most common problem that you see throughout your patients? Because there's probably some sort of pattern.
Yeah, the main pattern that has been increasing seriously, especially after COVID, is the disordered eating
Okay.
and eating disorders.
Yeah.
So most people have at least a little bit of disordered eating pattern somewhere.
Yep.
And that would be some binge eating, some emotional eating, stress eating. Eating is emotional, it's fine. We eat when we are celebrating, mourning. Like all our functions involve some eating, special food, and that's okay. That's
Yep.
part of being human.
We call sharing connection breaking bread.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. So every function, every ceremony, like every practice has some specific foods that's involved with that.
Yep.
And that's totally fine. But when we get to the cycle of not meeting our needs somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
like COVID, we were not being socializing, we were not meeting our friends and classmates and coworkers. We didn't have that human connection.
Yep.
We didn't have that much of the fun and everything else, like traveling, everything was limited. So we turned to food for our comfort. And then again, that guilt and shame and not feeling good. So what happens after that is it's a vicious cycle that we fall in.
I want to share something with you that was my own perspective when I was younger, and I've kind of carried it through. So when I was in high school, I told myself that the best way to fuel my body, and this is just an internal speak, nobody told me this, I just thought it,
Okay.
was to think like, okay, if there was no civilization, how would I eat? Well, the first thing I would do is I would wake up in my camp or whatever,
Yeah.
and I would have to go hunt for my food,
Yeah. See what you can find.
see what I can find. So I would do heavy cardio,
Yeah.
and then I would say, okay, if I found my food, I have to kill it. I have to kill it, I have to prepare it, I have to do
Yeah.
something. So I would do heavy cardio, then I would do strength training.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, so I've killed the thing. Now I need to bring it back to camp. So that's cool down, some sort of cool down exercise.
That's right.
And then I can eat.
Yeah.
And when I gave my body that cycle, I felt amazing. But I've sort of strayed from that. And I feel like I should go back. Do you think that that makes sense, or is that kind of silly to think in that way? Because, you know, as food has, like, it's so convenient now. Food comes
It
to
is.
you.
Yeah.
It just
is.
comes to your door.
Yeah.
You can order it, and it takes like 15 minutes, and it's fully prepared, and you just open your door, you grab a bag, you binge.
And it's highly processed.
And it's highly
So it's not
processed.
a natural food, the whole food that we would get like 100 years ago.
Exactly. And then, you know, back then when you killed an animal, you would try to use every part of it.
Yeah.
And you would eat the brain, you would eat the organs, you would eat the feet, the tail, the tongue, everything, the eyes, the brain. And now it's like, no, I just want sliced cheese. I want bread that's like, you know, full of sugar. I don't even know if my meat is really meat because I've never been part of the process
Yeah.
of procuring and skinning it and making it my own.
Most of foods are highly processed. So
Yeah.
when people ask me like, how often do I need to go to the gym? I'm like, depends on how active you are in your natural life, right?
Mm.
So now this nice weather, we're like, okay, let's hit to the park. So there's more options and opportunities for the kids to be active or teenagers to be active. So, but leaving them at home to be on the video games, then what do we expect? Then they have to go compensate at the gym.
But
So-
the video games are good for your brain. Your brain needs the food.
yeah, not the whole day and night.
Oh, no, not at all.
Everything in balance.
Yes.
I'm not against video game,
Yeah.
but the balance, right?
But if you're doing 10 hours, guys, come on.
depends on how long you're doing it, right?
I bet you the people watching this are playing
We are
games
not
for
walking to get our food. We are not walking to school. We are not walking like all those like natural activity we would have, like washing our clothes and dishes by the river. Like we are not doing that natural things, right?
Yeah.
Taking care of many kids at home. You're not doing it anymore.
So what do you
So
think
we
is
have
the
to
best
concentrate.
compensation? Should we eat less?
No, we need to incorporate more natural activity into our lives.
Okay,
So
so you
standing desk is one of them.
Smart.
Marching while you are like watching something or while you are attending a webinar or something. Don't just sit and watch people.
and how many hours of activity would you say is good for an average human per day?
So the Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines says 2.5 hours of cardio per week. That's the minimum.
2.5
So
per
that's
week.
five-
That's
yeah.
nothing. You could
Five
do
times of 30 minutes.
yeah.
Just walk around the block.
That's amazing.
That's minimum.
That's it.
And another part is about like interrupted sitting. That's another issue now. So we're sitting for long hours, and that's problematic for our spine, for our blood pressure, for our physical health, mental health. So just interrupt your sitting. Like the smartwatch will tell you to stand up, right?
Yeah, and then you
How
got to
does
listen
my-
to it.
But don't dismiss it. Exactly.
I want to ask you a personal question.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time that you felt truly seen? You know, every day we go through the world, we kind of like autopilot, and we don't really feel perceived. You ever feel truly seen by somebody? When was the last time?
I think I get that in my like family, friends, and work. So I'm lucky.
Nice. So pretty regularly.
Yeah,
You seemed like a pretty holistically well-rounded person.
I think so. Yeah, I like that. Like I don't want to focus on one aspect of life and then leave the others.
So then you would say like maybe yesterday you felt truly seen, or even today from your family.
Yeah, I think I get that from my patients, from my coworkers, my family and friends. So
And what helps you feel seen? Because I know sometimes we get seen on our physical appearance, but like on the inside, you know, us as a person.
yeah, like talking about my beliefs and like right now you ask me about like my opinion, right? So when that conversation gets deeper with my patients and coworkers, and then when I share with them is heard,
Mm.
and my participation in the team, like I work with 6 other dietitians,
Okay.
the team, so I've always felt that I'm seen and heard as part of the team.
That's fantastic. Not everybody has that opportunity at work, you
That's
know?
right.
That's great. Do you struggle with any internal battles right now? Is there anything that's going on in your head or in your soul that you're kind of grasping with?
It's human, we all have something, right?
Yeah, so what are you
We're dealing with.
struggling with right now?
Hard to find something that I can share, right?
It's up to you. Your
So,
vulnerability is totally up to you.
Sometimes, like as part of my job, seeing that people are like the patients and the community are very confused
Okay.
with the misinformation.
Yep.
And even the healthcare system is pushing people to eat less and move more and diet, and that eating disorder as a healthcare system and healthcare providers we're causing. So that battle that me and my other like dietitian colleagues have with other healthcare providers that pushing people to go on diet, and that only it doesn't help people with losing their weight and managing their blood sugars. It helps them to binge eat more.
Interesting.
And then they have their struggles, like they bring their struggles into our counseling sessions, and they cry in front of us.
Yeah.
And then we are kind of swimming upstream.
Interesting. It's a good exercise to
That's the
swim
battle.
upstream.
It is. So that's the battle.
If you had 60 seconds to tell the world something, what would it be?
Okay. I would suggest all of us to live and eat and be active as natural as possible.
Even if in your own head, naturally, you just want to eat like 10 cheeseburgers.
That's not natural. So that person knows that big part of it is because I wasn't allowing myself to eat a burger. Now I'm allowing myself, and I'm going to indulge.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that
Restriction,
when I do delayed gratification, when I get it, I'm like,
overeating.
interesting.
Overeating.
I can
Any
say
restriction.
I can say from personal experience that is 100% true.
Yeah.
Because when I started living with my wife, she's like, why don't you eat home cooked meal? And I'm very busy. I'm an entrepreneur. I own a business. I'm all over the place. So sometimes I'll eat here, there, outside, whatever. And she'll see me binge eating sometimes. And she'll say, why don't you just eat home cooked meals? And over the last 2 years, I've switched. I'm doing much better now.
Okay.
But we've lived together for 4 years. And during the first 2 years, I felt more shame because I could sense her judging me and, trying to, and I know where it comes from. It comes from a good place, but I felt that shame. So when I would stop and I would say, okay, honey, I'm not going to do this. And I would go maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks not doing it. And then you have a moment of weakness. And that weakness isn't like, okay, I'm going to have one McDonald's meal. It's like, I'm going to have a McChicken, a quarter pounder. I'm going to eat 2 junior chickens on top of that, medium fries, and an iced tea. That is that's like probably 3,000 calories in a 15 minutes session, which is just horrendous if you're not, Michael Phelps and swimming every day and going through like.
What do you think happened that you ended up having that huge meal?
Sorry, rephrase the question
What
one more time.
caused that binge eating? What was the root cause of it? You weren't as physically hungry, were you?
Well, it always stems from hunger, and I
Okay.
eat with my eyes.
Okay.
So if I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, and I do intermittent fasting. So if it's like 4 p.m. and I haven't eaten yet, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat something. I don't know what it is, but my brain goes, if I just order one thing, it's not enough. I'm going to be hungry later. So just like pack yourself, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
And then outside of that, I think I'm sometimes looking for comfort, or I'm trying to fill a hole based off of the stress that I have in my life. So like if I'm struggling financially, or if I'm struggling with clients, I'm like trying to solve that problem while I'm eating. It's like my brain needs the pause, and I'm just shoving my face, but I know that's an excuse. I'm actually running away from the problem.
Okay.
So
That's why I'm saying it's not natural, right? So now you're very aware of what's happening in your mind and in your body. So
Yes.
what's causing that binge eating? So unless you deal with those other challenges,
you're just
and
going to
be
binge eat.
aware of like, why am I turning to food now? How much of it is physical hunger? How much am I like physically, my stomach is hungry? How much is heart hunger and the emotions?
Yeah.
How much is the mouth hunger? And I feel like having something crunchy and salty. That's why I'm having chips.
Yes. 100%.
So being aware of like different types of hunger, and
That's so
where
interesting.
those emotions and heart hunger is coming from, what else can I do about it? Is there anything else I can do about the financial challenges? Is there anything else I can do about my relationship, my work, like different things that we're dealing with?
That makes a lot of sense, but the brain gives up. It's like it doesn't want to do that work.
Decision fatigue, right? There's a lot
Exactly.
of decisions to make.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then dieting does not help any of those. Restricting the timing of eating, restricting the type of eating and amount of eating.
What are your thoughts on the
Eventually-
carnivore-only diet? Have you heard of this, where people just eat steak?
Yeah, but for how long? How sustainable is it?
Well, there's this one. Are you familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Yes.
His daughter, Michaela Peterson, apparently has been eating steaks for the last like 5-6 years, and that's all she eats.
Mm-hmm.
Steak, salt, and water, and then like smoothies and coffee or whatever.
Okay.
But in
So a
terms,
few things.
isn't
So
that crazy?
Science does not work on like 1 or 2%. So what my experience and my friend's experience is cannot be applied to other people. That's
Okay.
one part of it.
So the exception doesn't make the rule.
No,
Okay.
it does not. And it could be on like so many different things, right?
Yeah.
So the good studies look at thousands of people in years,
Yes.
decades. And that's how the guidelines are made.
That makes sense. You want to look at good quality data,
Yeah.
and then make
So
a decision.
One person has been having 17 eggs per day does not make everyone's body being okay with that. So that's how the guidelines get changed, how the science gets changed. Yes, you're flexible to see, okay, what's happening and what people are experiencing, but making the decision based on one person does not make the rule. We have different genetics, we have different bodies.
Yeah, and she's talked about it like she has some weird thing going on, but she says it helped her. And when I hear that, to me, I'm so skeptical, because I've been taught my whole life that you need a complete, balanced
Yep.
diet. You need to
Yeah,
have
you're not
your
getting the
vegetables.
potassium, magnesium, vitamin C. There's a lot of nutrients that you're not getting.
Yeah, you're just
not
missing
having any
everything.
vegetables and just
And then, you know,
fiber.
cows and them, they eat vegetables and grass, and you're sort of getting the vitamins or minerals through.
Not everything.
Not everything, exactly.
There's no vitamin C in meat. There's no fiber in meat.
There's no fiber.
There's no calcium in meat.
That makes
You can
sense.
Google those and see if there's any calcium in the meat. You can't get it.
See, I'm not a dietitian. I
So
don't know
in
anything.
long term, that person most probably may suffer
That makes
in
sense.
different ways.
And they might not even be aware of it until like years down
It
the
takes
line.
time to show, yeah.
That makes sense.
The bone density does not show in a few months or years. It takes time.
That's amazing. Well, Shiva, thank you for your time. Do you have any
You're
questions for
welcome.
me?
It was so nice talking to you.
Thank
it
you.
was a surprise just walking around. But yeah, like tell me about like where I can watch your stream and
So it's the
Channel?
6 Feet Apart podcast. You
Okay.
can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube,
okay, nice.
and Patreon. We're all
Wow,
over the place.
okay.
But it's one word and the number 6, and then FT Apart podcast. The sign's right there.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, feel free to check us out, and
Thank you so
maybe you'll
much.
see yourself up there. Thank you. You're my first guest today, so that's very
Yeah?
nice.
Okay. So let me make sure.
That was fantastic. We just finished our conversation with Shiva, the dietitian, and we learned a new word in Farsi called azizam. Apparently Ed Sheeran is using that word in a song, and that's very fun. This is the beauty of the 6 Feet Apart podcast, is sitting down with people who are willing to share their values, their opinions, and really light up our life. And this is why I think human conversation and connection is vital. That's why we're here. Now let's try to get somebody else here. The problem is that people come in groups. So I only have 2 headphones and 2 mics. If somebody out there wants to sponsor the podcast and get us 2 more mics and headphones, I mean, this table supports 4 people. We could have a whole group discussion. That'd be interesting. But right now I am extremely poor. Actually, I have like $1 in my bank account, maybe even less. So that's something. And why we need sponsors. I've been trying to get sponsors for the 6 Feet Apart podcast for years. I mean, since we started. I think it's been 2 years now. And no success. So maybe I need to get better at that. Keep pushing. Learn more. Talk to other people that get partnerships. Micro-influencer partnerships, you know what I mean? While we grow. Getting people in on the ground level is important. Because then they can get a good deal. I think. Hello, sir. Sir, would you like to have a seat? He's not interested. That's okay. We'll keep trying. Let's see. Sir, would you like to have a seat? Come on. Would one of you guys... Sorry to bother you guys. Wouldn't you want to be on my podcast? It's about you. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Take your time. Would one of you guys want to be on my podcast? I'll be here for the next hour or two. Yeah, and it's as long as you want it to be. A minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want. All right, come have a seat, man. Have a seat right here. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. We're on the internet, my friend. So I just asked that you put the headphones on.
Yeah.
You got me in your ears there. Hello, hello.
Okay, yeah, here, I just talk to this.
Yeah. Have you ever heard your own voice?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. What's your name, man?
My name is Abdullahi, but most of my friends call me Abdi.
What do you prefer?
I prefer Abdi.
Abdi,
It's
okay.
easier to pronounce.
And my name's Stev.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Steph.
What brings you to the park today?
We're just swooping around, me and my boys. See, some of them are here. More people are coming around later on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got a personal question for you.
What's the question?
When was the last time that you felt truly seen?
Seen as in...
Not just seen physically, but also understood, on the inside.
I'd say probably yesterday.
Oh, yeah? Can you tell me a little bit about it?
I'm just a person that really expresses myself. So, I mean, let's say, I think, was it yesterday? I'll say 2 days ago, because on Friday it was Eid. And then we were just having a little family dinner. And then I usually have some, unusual takes, but then I really stand by it.
Nice.
So another, one take was, I forgot. I see a lot of things.
Amazing.
Right? But I'll just know I said a unusual take, and then...
Well, I got to hear this take now. I can't just... My brain is, it's going to be unsettled for the rest of this conversation if I don't know this unusual take that you had 2 days
Yeah, I know what you
ago.
mean. So I think that take was... I think I said something as in... What did I say? I knew you... I'm more of a person that really expresses the new generation.
Okay.
So on TikTok and everything like that, right? So I made a joke as in to people having jobs.
Yeah.
Right? And then I was questioning it because a lot of people on TikTok were saying the new meme that's going around is that people on TikTok are saying having a job is bad, you're a loser, right? Which is kind of odd. You need a job. Everybody got a job, right? My dad got a job. So I was talking to my dad, and I'm like, oh, and then my dad was talking about work. I'm like, work? Huh? I don't like work. I don't like employment. I don't like jobs, right? And then he was like, huh? He was like, if you don't have a job, how can you be successful, right?
Interesting.
But then most entrepreneurs are millionaires, right?
Exactly.
And some of them don't have jobs. So my dad kind of lives in the old mentality. So I was just explaining to him how entrepreneurship is a thing, right? You can make money and you can buy all these things without actually working for somebody and working for yourself, aka starting their own business.
Correct.
Right? So...
Do you mind if I stop you there for a second? So I'm a business owner.
Oh.
And there's a little bit of nuance in what you're saying that I think the new generation is missing.
Yeah.
And I fell into this trap in my early 20s. You may think that you don't have a job.
Yeah.
Because you're self-employed.
Yeah.
But when you create a company and a business, you are your own first employee. And if you think that you're not an employee, you don't respect your own business. You don't respect your own company. You don't respect your job. And as an entrepreneur, you actually have probably multiple jobs. You're probably wearing 10 hats and stretching yourself thin.
I can imagine that.
Whereas when you get hired for a position, your sole focus is just that. You're already in a system. So there's a lot of peace of mind that comes with a predetermined job because it's given to you and the path for that job has been pre-laid. But when you're creating the path yourself, it comes with so many extra jobs that you're not aware of. And if you're not going to do it and you don't have the resources to have somebody else do it, then it's not going to get done.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's the work. That's the job.
Yeah, you just got to be able to get it done.
Exactly. And if you don't think of it like that as a job, I've found this because I've been around other entrepreneurs and stuff. There's this sense of entitlement and also, honestly, like lack of accountability. Because if your employer, like let's say you're 10 minutes late to your own job,
Yeah.
to your own business, you're like, oh, I know, you set your schedule a week ahead, and then Wednesday comes along and you're like, okay, 10 a.m. I said I was going to do this, but I'm not really feeling it, so I'm going to start at 11.
Okay.
You can't do that at work.
No, you can't.
But if you own your own business,
You can do it because
You can.
you're your own employee.
Exactly.
I like that mindset.
You like it, but it's dangerous
It is really dangerous
because
too.
it lacks discipline and accountability.
And it all depends on the person though, how they are, and
100%.
how they've been raised.
100%.
It's a good mindset, but it's a good thing to keep in mind in the future.
100%.
I think at one point I wasn't employed, right? And myself, I'm 19
Okay.
only, right? So I'm fairly young, but
You're 10 years younger than
I
me.
started working when I was 15 at fast food, retail, right? So I kind of known like the whole world of employment. And before that, my dad asked me when I was around 14 or when I was going to my first job, he was saying, what would you rather be, an employee or an employer?
Yeah,
And I said, I would rather be an employee because I don't want to deal with the stresses of an employer.
exactly.
And now if you ask me that same question, or if I ever heard that, I will think I'm an idiot, right?
Yep.
Because
Well, yes and
that's
no.
choosing the easiest way out.
Yes and no. It really depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think putting moral stigma on decisions
Yeah.
is never a good idea. I think looking at things logically and being like, and really asking yourself, what is the life that I want to live? That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if you set a goal, and I'm not saying a goal like a month from now, I'm saying like a 5-year plan. Have you
Yeah.
ever done that before?
I did actually, yeah. It's
Okay.
like when you're going into school or when you're going into, like when you're making big decisions with your life, right? You got to think ahead.
100%. And I think even before you make a big decision, like there's nothing stopping you from today going home and opening up a calendar and being like 2030, who is the Abdi that I want to be in 2030?
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Nothing stops you from doing
Nothing
that.
stops me at all.
And a lot of people don't ask themselves that question. So then they make decisions reactively instead of proactively.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're making decisions reactively,
You're just not going to progress.
you're not going to progress. They're typically emotional and they're typically morally loaded decisions. Whereas I like to think very logically. So if I'm like, okay, this is my 5-year plan. I want to get here. If I make this decision, is it going to help or not help? And it just makes everything so much faster
Mm-hmm.
when you're deciding things anyway.
I mean, the thing with me is that I would also think that I wouldn't think it's contradictory, but majority of people that are asked that question will think otherwise, because a lot of people in the public and society today think more reactively than proactively.
Yeah.
And I think that's what holds people back.
I
right?
agree.
And one thing I would like to say is that the one key thing to be successful in life is to just follow your gut, right? You got to block out the excess noise, and you got to block out what other people are trying to say, what other people's opinions. You just got to believe in yourself, and you got to lock in, and you got to just keep going on with the flow.
So what's one thing that you're struggling with internally right now? You're young, you're 19.
Obviously, is like I just said for myself, is blocking out the noise, right? Because 19-year-olds, right? You have a lot of friends. You're always out, right? A lot of people will say, "Oh, what are you doing?" Right? Why don't you have a job? What's your
Yeah.
problem? Right? Why are you unemployed? So the thing is, you just gotta ignore that, and you just gotta say, you just gotta block them out, and you gotta keep doing what you love doing.
So what's your answer to that? Why are you unemployed? Why are you not being productive?
It's because I believe in myself, and I believe in the 5 years I'll be a different person, a better person than I would be if I was employed.
So what are you working towards right now?
Right now I currently sell cars,
Sick.
right? Dealership,
Nice.
right? Own dealership. Started it with my brothers because I'm not really of age, right? I started this when I was 18. It was like November. My birthday's
Nice.
in December, and so far it's been going good. I believed in myself. I'm like, okay, after I sell 2 cars, I'm just gonna quit my job. I was working at Walmart for about like over a year now,
Yeah.
and it kind of sucked. I really hated the employee life because I had no work social life.
Okay.
'Cause my friends will often go out, and then I would often see them because we share our locations, right? And I'd feel so shitty about myself because I have work the next day, and then it's 10 p.m. All my friends are going out in summer, and I just gotta go to work, man. Right? Kind of sucks, but I knew I'm like, just give myself time, and I trusted myself to sell those 2 cars, and I eventually quit Walmart. I was working at Walmart.
So how much do you make right now selling cars, if you don't mind me asking? Like on a monthly basis?
The business itself makes good money, but we do split it 3 ways, and sometimes we split it 4 ways. But on average, I think I make around 3 to 4 grand a month.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good for a 19-year-old, especially too.
100%.
At Walmart, I was making around 1,500 to 2,000 a month.
Yep.
Right. My bills obviously isn't that much. Right. I have a car.
Yeah, you get to just save that money.
If I just pay my insurance and my gas and my car needs, everything else is just wants. That's my bills.
So what are your like monthly costs then?
On average, my typical spend, I use the TD My Spend app. I often spend 1,000 to 1,100 every month.
That's fantastic. So you're pocketing like 2.9 to
Yeah,
3
but
grand.
some months it doesn't really make that much, obviously, because it depends on the market and depends on the demand, of course, too.
Yep.
Because not much people are going to want to buy cars in winter, but a lot of people are going to want to buy cars in summer, right?
Interesting.
And it depends on how much, like, if I have finals, right? So around in March or April, it wasn't really much, right? I think I made almost less than what I would have made at Walmart. So it's not really set, and it just depends on how much time you put into the game.
So did you learn the lesson of like it's important to save your money for those low periods instead
Yes.
of like spending it?
Yes, so I'm not afraid to share one habit. One habit I picked up on about a year ago was the one mindset I always have is that my typical spend is only $1,000, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people that are cheap, or if I'm making like hesitant purchases, let's say if I want a car I want, right? But I have the money, so I'm not going to be cheap. The thing is, if I have 20,000, right? And if I have 5,000, my life isn't different as long as I have income,
Yep.
right? So that's the one mindset I always have, because my monthly spends are only $1,000. So what difference does it make if I have 20 or 5,000, right?
Well, the difference is in runway. You have either 5 months or you have 20 months.
Mm-hmm.
So really, you're selling your future.
Kind of. I wouldn't make it wouldn't be necessary to like.
Most business owners only keep 6 to 12 months of runway, by the way, as a rule of thumb.
That's a good rule of thumb.
If you have more than a year of runway, you're typically not growing. You're not investing enough into the business or into any things. And
Yeah.
if you have less than 6 months, you're on thin ice. Like you need to
The thing with me
go
is
fundraise.
that's so real. The thing with me is that I'm not a person that I don't like my money sitting. You know what I mean? I like it going in a flow.
100%.
And since I'm at a young age, I don't got rent or anything. I wouldn't make those dumb decisions as like buying an expensive car, right? I don't believe in that really.
So let me ask you something. What stops you from taking a bet on a kid your age, having them do the work that you do to sell cars on your behalf, and instead of paying them the commission that you make, you pay them $18 an hour, $19 an hour of the work that they do? And the reason I ask this is just think of it from a business owner standpoint, because you said earlier, do I want to be an employee or an employer?
Okay.
An employer thinks this way. If I spend $19 an hour, I'm only betting an hour.
Okay.
And it's only $19. If the person sucks after 3 hours, I only spent $60, but it's $60 and 3 hours of my own time that I got to save. So, if you can sell a car and make $1,000 commission just off the top of my head, whatever, the less amount of time that you're spending trying to make as much money as possible, you're essentially losing money. But if you can replace yourself constantly and get systems going and just make small bets here and here,
Okay.
then at some point you've removed yourself from the business and now you're working on it instead of in it.
I get it. Yeah, I do get it.
So your rent is $1,000.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you make $4K.
Yeah.
I would say you should be looking like you could spend $1,000 a month on
on the employee.
on an employee, on advertising, on a system that's going to help you make more.
Yeah.
And that would be a really good investment.
It is. That's the thing. That's the goal. So it kind of works. It kind of works like mutually with commission or hourly wage.
Yeah.
But hourly wage seems more enticing, right? But
If you're a sheep, yes.
yeah.
But if you believe in yourself, commission is the best because the ceiling is infinite.
Yeah.
Whereas you can only make as much time as you can give, and you only have a limited amount of time in the day. So it's like, okay,
It
I'm
all
gonna
depends
work-
on the business, honestly, right? If I'm like a Honda dealership, I would obviously pay salary because they're gonna go crazy with the commission, right? Anybody can sell a Honda. You know what I mean? But if it's like a low-end used car dealership, I would obviously go with the hourly route.
Interesting.
Or I'll go with the I'll go with the commission route. Right? It'll help me and it'll help them.
That's interesting.
That's the way I see it, though.
If you had 60 seconds to tell the world one thing, what would it be?
60 seconds.
Or not even just one thing. If you just had 60 seconds to speak to the world, what would you say?
Speak to the world. I'll just give a financial tip. The one thing I would often tell everybody, and even one of my friends, is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Especially if you're the same age as me, as a 19-year-old, don't be afraid to make financial mistakes. Because you will have, it won't be a big enough setback to where like your life will be ultimately over, right? I will think that you can make mistakes because it will grow you as a person. So don't be afraid to make that one purchase. Don't be afraid to do that one thing. Just don't be afraid at all. Just do it. Based off instinct, just do it.
I love that. There's a famous quote, I forget who it is, but he's like, I'm not proud of my wins, I'm proud of my losses because every loss has made me stronger and gotten me closer to a win.
I think I probably heard it somewhere online.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, people think like failure is bad, but if you take those as lessons and you actually derive value from it and you don't get emotional, dude, failing's the best thing on the planet.
Failing is. Failing's the best teacher.
100%.
100%.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do. So one question I could ask you is, to all aspiring business owners out there, what's one piece of advice you would give them that would help them in the long run?
Think before you act. I think strategy is extremely important. I think being clear on what you want to do is extremely important. And I'm going to break down my advice in 3 major categories. The first one is you should figure out what your own values are as a person. Because at the end of the day, if you're not surrounding yourself by the values that you hold, you're slowly going to hate yourself and you're slowly going to hate your environment. So really dig deep and figure out, like, who am I and what do I like in my life? Like, what do I really value?
Yeah.
Once you figure that out and you create sort of a mission on how you want to change the world, the second thing that I would do is understand your audience.
Okay.
So now that you know that you want to change the world, who do you need to get in front of to make that change happen? And there's typically 4 different types of users in a brand or a business.
Yeah.
You have your current clients, and if you've never had a client before, you're typically your first client because you see a problem in the world that you want to solve and you want to solve it for yourself. So if you have to make a profile on yourself, do that. And do it in a way that it's like, this is how old I am, this is where I live, this is how much money I make, this is my backstory, this is what qualifies me to be a profile, these are my needs, this is why I have these needs, and this is how I would want my needs to be exceeded so that if this business did it for me, it would stay in my head. Once you create a profile on your current client, create a profile on your ideal client. And the reason that there's a gap between the two is the people that you serve today are typically not the people you want to serve tomorrow. So create that profile.
Okay.
The third profile is suppliers, employees, or anybody that's going to be within the organization, partners, business owners, whatever. Anybody that's going to be working with you inside your organization, build a profile on them. The reason you want to build a profile on them and segment between your clients and your employees and the people working for you is the relationship is fundamentally different. Their needs are different and their wants are different. And if you don't categorize them, you're going to screw yourself when you communicate. The last type of user are influencers. So these are people that have a large audience and can speak on your behalf for what you're doing. And again, you don't treat them like clients and you don't treat them like employees. They're special people and you need to treat them special. So if you segment all of these user types, you're going to do very well. You're going to have a very high look on your business. My last piece of advice is understand fundamentally what is a business. And a business has 3 pillars: time, money, and relationships.
Okay.
What are all the ways that I can make money? Write it down. What are all the ways that I can be seen? Write it down. How are all the ways that I can save time? Write it down. Then, beside all of your list of all the things that you can do, figure out how long is it going to take to implement this. If your plan is a year, then use small, medium, large. Small is 3 months, medium is 6 months, large is 9 months.
I agree.
Put it next to those things. Then, on a scale of 1 to 10, how desirable is this thing? Whatever you wrote down
Yeah.
to yourself. Because if you're going to make your own business, it should be something that you wake up and want to do every day.
Sort of like a mantra.
Not a mantra. This is like very tangible. Like, think of it as like a table. And you're going to write like 1 out of 10. Let's say, how do I make money selling cars? How desirable is it for me to wake up every day and sell cars? Is it a 10 or is it like a 7? Is it a 5? Like, let me ask you.
I think if I wake up, it would be like a 9.
9. Amazing. Now, how easy is it for you to sell cars on a scale of 1 to 10? Given the resources that you have, your age.
It varies, but with an average, let's go with Honda, I would think it's like a 6 or a 5.
Okay, let's say it's a 6. So your desirability is a 9, your doability is a 6. That means that your total score is a 15. On your list, I would say that's something that you can do. But anything that scores under a 15, don't do it.
That's a nice mindset. I never thought of it. I really appreciate that. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Thanks, man. Do you have any other questions for me?
I think that's about it. So, yeah, I think it's about to rain. I was supposed to go play hoop. I was about to go hoop with my friends.
Yeah.
But it was nice speaking to you, though.
It was nice speaking to you as well.
It's nice speaking to you, though.
Thanks for stopping by. You're able to ask me anything else. You can stay as long as you want, or you're happy to leave now. Or whatever. It's totally your choice.
I just want to... I want to get it before the rain. I want to get out before the rain
Yeah, man,
starts.
go play some ball.
Yeah, no worries. But it was nice speaking to you, though, really.
Thank
Nice,
you.
really.
Thanks for sitting down, Abdi.
Appreciate it.
You just take them off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've been recording them. Stev, nice to meet you. So you're just going to put the headphones on. Have you ever listened to yourself talk? Like, heard your own voice? It might take a second for you to get used to it. Can you hear me in your ears? Hello, hello. And then that's your mic. So just bring it up to your mouth.
Testing.
There you go. You said your name was Victoria?
Yes, Victoria.
And your son's here.
Yes, he's 13 years old. He looks very active.
What's his favorite activity here at the park?
The skateboarding.
Oh, nice. I used to skateboard too.
Oh, very cool.
Relatively actively. Now I'm 29. I run my own business. I'm very busy. And I do stuff like this instead of skateboard.
Very cool. Very cool. But I like that you bring it back to the roots and do it here, I guess.
Yeah, of course. I've actually only been in this neighborhood since October. I grew up in Scarborough and stuff, and I am very happy to be in a neighborhood like this versus Scarborough. But yeah, I thought it would be nice to, let mothers like yourself, parents, the youth sit, express themselves, and then, share their opinions to the world.
Sure. Definitely my first time doing something like this, so I feel very awkward and shy.
It's most people's first time.
There's my boy right there.
Do you want to come sit down too? You can sit over there.
But I get what you're saying about the area. We moved up, not here, we're actually up in Keswick, but it's a huge change from Jane and Finch where we used to live.
Yes, Jane and Finch is a very different area than here.
Very different. I'm going to get you to put these guys on. You guys be kids?
Anybody can sit down, yeah.
Oh, it's so clear.
Hello,
Hi there. What's your name?
Roman.
Roman. Nice to meet you, Roman. Your mom said that you like to skate park.
Yeah, it's a very good skate park. I ride my bicycle.
Oh, okay, nice. And do you skate as well?
No, I just ride my bicycle.
What do you like to do on your bike? Like, do you go into the bowl? Do you do any jumps? Or is it just kind of like going in circles?
If you look over there's the bowl, and I like the bowl.
Nice. Nice. Let me ask you, Roman, when was the last time that you felt seen?
Seen?
Yeah.
Like someone saw me?
Yeah, but not just like saw you with their eyes, but like really understood you.
I don't know. Not a lot, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Is that something that you wish that would happen more, that you'd feel understood?
I don't really care. I think I'm understood enough.
Okay. What's one thing that you've felt misunderstood about before? Or even right now?
Not really anything. Maybe not really anything.
Okay.
I don't think.
So everybody gets you. You're a gettable guy.
Yeah. I think so.
Do you have any questions for me?
Is this podcast going on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I'm gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah. Who do you like to watch on YouTube?
I don't really go on YouTube that much.
Okay.
I'm not a very social person. Do you guys have a lot of subscribers?
Not yet, no. Just over 1,000.
Yes.
Roman's very, very passionate kid. He's very athletic.
Okay. Oh, you like to cook.
A little bit.
What's your favorite meal to make?
Probably steak.
Okay. I'm going to have to come have some Roman steak. Mom is shaking her head.
He's a phenomenal cook. Fish, meat, you name it. He can make it all.
That's amazing. So you said you're not very social, but you have confidence. You came and you sat down. What made you sit down?
My mom.
Well, she didn't make you. Do you mean that because she sat down, she gave you the confidence to sit down as well?
Like, she called me over. Or,
Oh. I think I called you over.
oh yeah, you did. But yeah, because of my mom.
Well, you don't have to be here. No one's forcing you to be here.
Oh, okay. Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Don't go, honey.
Thank you so much, Roman.
Thank you. I think we're a little bit of an awkward awkward family if you put us on camera, right?
I think most people are pretty awkward. But I like that because the mission of this podcast is to help everyday people feel heard and have a chance to reach virality. I think that most people in the world don't have an opportunity to sit down and to be genuinely heard. Like, I have a genuine interest in everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have a genuine interest towards everybody as well.
That's typical for most introverted people. You're like a people watcher, right? You like to see and analyze.
Surprisingly, I'm actually quite extroverted. I just do feel really awkward with hearing my own voice.
Okay.
I don't love it. It sounds a little nasal. So I'm kind of drawing a blank. Maybe give us a topic to talk about.
Well, I'm curious as to what is it about yourself that makes you feel uncomfortable with your own voice? I want to sit in that discomfort for a little bit.
Just the sound of it. There's nothing really specific.
That seems like you're quite hard on yourself then.
Perhaps.
Let's show a little compassion for Victoria's voice. Is there anything that you're struggling with right now internally in your stage of life?
It's a very, very general question, I guess. Why don't you go first?
Oh God. Okay, so I'm having some financial troubles. So I'm an
everyone.
entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I do branding for other businesses. I help them with their reputation. I help them with their culture, their training, their marketing, stuff like that. And I found since the political climate has shifted, a lot of businesses are in preservation mode instead of growth mode.
Oh, that's been quite ongoing, I feel like, since the COVID as well.
Yeah, COVID was interesting because there were some sectors where people kind of felt very eager and they were like risk takers. But now I feel like all the risk takers did their thing and they either succeeded or didn't. And now everyone is like in super preservation mode, mostly because of the orange man down south.
Yeah, it's not doing us any favors for sure.
No, not at all. So personally, that's something that I've been struggling with a little bit. I don't let it get to me too much, but that's been some of my struggle is like, I'm a growth person. I don't like to conserve. I'm not like I think that the world is what you make it and that we have the power to change it in any way. So it's very frustrating having conversations over and over and over again with people in a different state of mind. And that's what I've been struggling with.
For sure. I hear that a lot in terms of the struggle. I worry for our kids in terms of how they're going to afford anything. Just even housing. I feel like they're going to have to live with their 10 roommates in one room. You know, it's a rough time, but I think that it's important to stick together and have your family and friends and just push through.
Were you born in Canada?
No, no.
Do you mind if I ask where you're from?
Yes, I do have an interesting background. It's so I was born in the Soviet Union, or Russia at the time,
Okay.
and then we moved to Ukraine where my sister was born. So my family is actually half Russian, half Ukrainian.
Okay.
And then
So you have an internal conflict going on right now.
well, just wait where I grew up. I grew up in Israel before coming here.
So you have 3 wars going on in your body, soul, and mind.
I try to not to watch the news too much because it's very, very upsetting. I think that, you know, our great-grandparents would be turning in their grave if they knew that we were now kind of fighting each other. It's absurd.
It is absurd.
It's absurd.
I'm Polish and I'm Serbian, so I resonate with the Eastern European background.
Yeah.
And even my grandmother, she said when I was going through high school and we were learning about World War II, she was telling me that it's ridiculous that people in our age get emotional and upset about the things in the past, and we should leave them there, and we should focus that we have the gratitude and the opportunities that we have today, because she went through it. And she's like, you guys shouldn't be getting upset over, you know, the idiots of the past. We should be focusing on, you know, the present and enjoying your youth and all that stuff.
Yeah, while I agree to an extent, I also believe that history is really important to talk about and to remember and
For
to,
sure.
I find that a lot of things repeat themselves in history once we start to kind of forget, you know, how we got there in the first place, and we start going into similar directions. So it's hard to watch. You know, Israel, I have a hard time even bringing my kids there because I don't feel safe, even though that's, you know, somewhere where I consider my home, and a lot of my family lives there still to this day.
You said you
And,
grew up there. How long were you in Israel?
Probably from grade 1. I started grade 1 there. I started a bit late. It was closer to grade 2, up until almost grade 6. So it was a very prominent kind of time of my
Yeah,
childhood.
very developmental.
Yeah, and then the rest was in Canada. We moved around a lot. I actually went to about probably more than 10 different schools in my life.
Wow. We share that.
Just moved all the time. My parents weren't too well off, but they worked very, very hard. You know, my mom worked harder than anybody getting us to this country, and forever grateful, honestly. Sometimes it feels like you're sitting in Canada on a little island and the rest of the world is just on fire.
Do you want to shout your mom out right now? Let her know how grateful you are for getting you over here?
Yes, thank you, Mom. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could say the same. I don't have a very strong relationship with my mother.
You know, our relationship doesn't have to be strong in order for me to be grateful for her sacrifices.
I like that.
Yeah. So I relate to that as well, unfortunately. I don't have strong relationships with either one of my parents, but I've kind of put in all of my effort into not having that be my legacy, if that makes sense. I work very hard to establish a good relationship with my kids, with my sister, with her kids, and all of the kind of family members that we have close to us. So our family is going to be very tight-knit, and
You're breaking the cycle.
yeah. Like Roman and I are going to be hella close, and I'm going to be close with his, you know, God willing, his kids someday, and we're going to have one big happy family.
I love that, Victoria.
So, sorry, Mom, if you don't want to be part of that, you don't have to. We'll be happy anyways.
Do you mind if I ask, when you became a mother, did that help change your perspective? Because you were saying that you're very grateful for the sacrifices that she made. Did it kind of put into your own perspective, like how hard it is to be a mother? And even though, you know, maybe that you have a little bit of resent, maybe you should have a little bit more gratitude instead of carrying that burden.
Excuse me. The gratitude that I've had for, you know, moving outside of war-torn countries has kind of always been there. Sure, it's become more prominent as an adult, but in terms of In terms of once I became a mother myself, I really thought, your parents are always like, well, wait until you have your own kids, you'll
I
understand.
hear that all the time.
So I generally thought that's what was going to happen. However, once I had my own kids, it actually created this entire new world of misunderstanding between my parents and I. Because children are so wonderful and they're so beautiful and they're so easy to love. And, it's impossible for me to understand how somebody wouldn't share that opinion.
I like that, Victoria. You have a good soul.
Thanks. Try.
If you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what would you say?
Oh, I'm not good at being put on the spot. I really need to go home and take a week and do several drafts and come back
She's
to you
I'm
later.
going to give you a master's essay.
It's true. I'm a perfectionist a little bit. That's why probably it's also hard to be for me to speak freely because I'll be listening back and cringing like crazy. That's not what I should have said.
I think you're doing great. And to be cringe is to be free.
Don't put me on a time limit, but what I would like to say is the world definitely needs more love and more peace and more compassion. And it's like my life's mission to love children. It sounds kind of creepy, but to share the love with specifically other children and other people in the world. And
I don't think that sounds creepy at all.
be there for other people. It's just the way I said it, sorry. But, be there for other people. I think the more you help other people, the more you get involved in your community, you'll inspire other people to do the same. And, one person will get inspired because they've been helped, and that inspires them to help someone else.
100%.
So I think that's kind of what I try to share with the world.
If somebody out there resonates with what you said and they want to go get involved in their community and to help the youth in their community, what's a good avenue to do that?
That's something that I've kind of been exploring myself, honestly. I mean, aside from it, I really don't know. I don't have the answer for that, to be honest.
Well, let me share something with you. So I felt the same way. And actually last week I had a conversation with Jeanette at the community center. And now in the fall, I'm going to be doing a program helping kids from 16 to 25 with branding. I'm going to do a workshop and teach them about business so that if they want to open up a business in our local community, because I found that I keep hearing it. There's a lot of kids that are a little bit young. I'm 29, but I associate with young 20-year-olds. And something that really bothers me about the way that they think is that they think that they need to have opportunities given to them and they can't create it. So I want to teach the youth in our local community on how they can take an idea and make it a tangible business and then share that idea with the world so that in our local community we see new business opportunities pop up.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Because the kids get the short end of the stick, honestly. You don't get hired without experience. You can't get experience without
getting
being
hired.
And it's just it's an endless cycle. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I remember trying to get work as a kid, for sure. I started working when I was 12, and it was just going through the newspapers and calling them up. Hey, can I deliver whatever for you guys? Yes, I'm of age. But things are a little bit more tight for the kids these days too.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very grateful for the time that you've given us.
Thank you.
As hard as it's been for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Again, I'm not good on the spot.
It's okay. I'm not that interesting anyway.
No, you are very interesting. If we put the mics away, I'm sure we could chat for 2 more hours. Where were you born?
I was born here, actually, in Scarborough General Hospital.
Oh, you're born in Canada.
Yeah.
Whoa. Do you speak any other language?
I speak 8 languages.
No, you don't.
I do,
Do you
yeah.
actually?
Yep. So fluently, I speak 3, and then the other 5 I can understand conversationally.
What are your fluent?
English, Polish, and Serbian. I can
Okay.
speak very fluently. I'm learning Japanese and Spanish.
No, stop.
And then the other 5 languages are Ukrainian, Russian, Bosnian, Macedonian, and Bulgarian.
That is very cool. Here I am trying to get my kid to attend French class.
Hey, to be fair, I couldn't learn French.
No.
In school, I hated it. It just didn't work for me.
No, Japanese is fine, easy peasy, but French, no.
I think it was the way it was. being shoved down my throat too. Have you ever heard of pathological demand avoidance?
I have not heard of it, but I can speculate.
It's this idea that if you're told to do something, because you're human, you know that you're autonomous. If you have what's called pathological demand avoidance, you will automatically choose the opposite. And it's to prove yourself, to prove the autonomy.
Oh.
So when someone tells you, hey, you have to do this, it almost like closes the door for you to do that.
Yes.
And I have a hint of that. I've always had issues with management and authority figures and stuff like that for a few reasons. One, I'm a debater type of person. I will spend hours and hours debating certain topics.
Yes, I'm the same way.
And the other reason is because I had a very deep conversation with my father. It's probably the best thing that he's ever done for me is give me this quote. And we were sitting in the car in his van. He was in between construction jobs. And I don't remember exactly what I was nagging him about, but I was like, Dad, you have to do this and you have to do that. You have to do this, you have to do that. And he looked at me in my eyes and he said, son, the only thing in life I have to do is die. Everything else is a choice. And that really pissed me off because I was like, what the hell are you talking about? You got to use the washroom. You got to eat. You got to do this. And he was like, no, I don't. That's a choice. And I was like, wait, what? And I went to bed and I tossed and turned. And it really made me mad because when I thought it through and through and through, he was absolutely correct. It really is a choice. If you want to hold your piss until you piss yourself, you can do that. Or, like, why you would do that, I don't know. But the idea that you have that choice is really important.
It's very interesting.
So when people tell me, Stev, you have to do this, it is instant. It's like a trigger in my mind where I go, I don't think so. That means that you have some sort of limiting belief that you're a slave to your ideas, really.
Yeah, the human mind is
It's a wild thing.
is a mystery for sure. It's definitely a mystery. Definitely a mystery. Okay, well, I think it's time for us to head out.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for your time, Victoria.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not going to make you hold the mic because it's very heavy. I'll hold it for you, okay? Just say something, though.
Hello,
Can you hear yourself? What's your name?
Kimia.
Kimia? How old are you, Kimia?
7.
7. Wow. Do you come to the park often?
This is the first time.
First time ever.
Yes.
Do you like the park?
I do, but it's raining.
Do you think that we're missing anything in this park? Like, would you want something to be here that isn't here right now?
Swings.
Exactly. Why don't we have swings here? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
We're going to have to call the park and tell them.
Okay.
Kimia, what's your favorite thing to learn at school right now?
We have these things that we're learning about. Like we have these boards that are small, and we have some because I'm in French school, and we have these markers, and we have these, and then when my teacher writes something on the board, we have to see what it's telling about, and then it's something about that. It's like plus and these all, but it's more harder than that, and yeah.
So you're in French immersion school.
Yeah.
Wow. I could tell that you're very smart. For a 7-year-old, you're very smart and very articulate.
They're so much smarter than me.
So what you're saying is that at school right now, on the board, they write a French word and you have to figure out what the word is?
No, it's like she writes, pretend like there was 5 cookies.
Okay.
And you have 2 people, and then you have to put 1 in each. You have 5 cookies, and then you have 2 people, so there's 2 boxes. Then you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you see how much in the boxes, and then you write the numbers over here, like 2 people, and then 5 in each of them, and then you write these things, and then you write 3 in each of them. Example, I don't know. I didn't count.
Okay. Let me ask you, Kimia, do you have any questions for me?
How old are you?
I'm 29 years old. Do I look 29 years old?
You look 50.
I look 50. Wow. I look like an old guy?
Yep.
What about me makes me look like an old guy?
You have a mustache.
Oh, okay. So anybody with a mustache is automatically 50 years old.
Nah, there's some people that cut it like my dad, his mustache.
Have you seen your dad's mustache before?
I saw it as a picture when he married.
But he doesn't keep his mustache anymore.
No, he wants to cut it every day, and then it gets bigger and bigger.
Kimia, what do you like most about life?
The weekends.
Because there's no school?
Yep.
And what do you do on the weekends?
Like 2 days a weekend, and we go to park.
What other parks do you go to?
Don't go every time to the park.
If you're not going to the park, where do you go?
We stay home or we go to Costco.
Oh, Costco. Do you like Costco?
It's too boring.
I think so too. I think Costco is pretty boring. And if you stay at home, what do you do at home?
I mostly go and watch cartoons.
What's your favorite cartoon to watch?
Loud House.
Loud House. I don't know if I've ever seen it. What's it about?
So there is there's 10 sisters and there's one brother, and they live in like a small house. But a genius one always when the house, the top always goes up and then comes back out.
Oh, cool. Kimia, if you could tell the world one thing right now, what would it be? What would you want to tell the world?
I don't know.
You can think about it. You can take your time and think about it. But if you could share one thing with the world, what do you think they need to know?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No idea.
Oh, of this park.
Oh, you would tell them of this park?
Yeah.
Well, everybody, if you are ever in the Oak Ridges area, you got to come to the Oak Ridges Community Park. Kimia said it herself. Kimia, thank you so much for your time. Are you going to go tell your dad to come sit down?
If he wants to.
Well, thank you. You can leave if you want, or you can ask me questions.
And if you don't know where it is, the park, then you can search on Google.
100%, yeah.
Or if you don't want to come, you don't have to. Everyone doesn't have to know.
Do you have any other questions for me?
How old are your sisters?
My sisters are 14 and 15, and then I also have another sister that's just turned 20.
Does she have her driving lessons?
Yes, she does.
Do you have your driving lessons?
Yes, I had my driver's license since I was 16. So that's been 13 years that I've had a driver's license. I've had a driver's license longer than you've been alive. Isn't that crazy?
Yep. How old is your mom and dad?
My mom and my dad are both 49 years old. They had me when they were 20. And I'm 29. So they're very young, 49. See, even my parents aren't 50 years old.
My dad is going to turn 50 tomorrow.
Wow.
We had a celebration we had the celebration today. So we put it 49 first because the 49 is ending, and then tomorrow we're not going to celebrate because we already know she's going to turn 50.
Wow. Do you want to say happy birthday to your dad on camera?
Happy birthday, Dad.
What's your dad's name?
Amir.
Amir? Happy birthday, Amir. Hopefully we could get him on the podcast. We could talk about what it's like turning 50.
If he wants to.
If he wants to. Well, thank you again, Kimya. Go enjoy the park. The rain stopped.
Wait, what is your name?
My name is Stev.
Bev?
Stev, yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much. She's wonderful. Have you ever heard your voice before on a mic?
Yeah,
Okay. What's your name?
Yusuf.
Hi, Yusuf. My name's Stev. Welcome to the 6 Feet Apart podcast. This is a place where we let everyday people have a chance to feel heard and reach virality on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, places like that. Your mom says you have a question for me. Do you have any questions?
No,
You don't have any questions?
no.
Makes sense. I'm not a very interesting person. I have a question for you. When was the last time that you felt understood?
I don't know. Like,
Do-
what do you mean, understood?
Like when you had an idea in your head and you wanted to share it and somebody actually listened to you?
I don't know. Like, no, I don't remember.
That's okay. What brought you to the park today?
I was going to the skate park.
Do you
like, over
skateboard?
there. No, I use a scooter.
Okay, cool, cool. And then do you go in the bowl or do you just go on the side ramps?
I go in the side ramps.
Okay. How long have you been going on the scooter?
Not a long time.
Okay, so you're just getting the hang of it.
Yeah,
Do you like it?
yeah,
It's fun, right? Like when you're going fast, and you see everybody else going fast.
yeah, it's cool.
Okay, okay. How old are you, Yusuf?
I'm 10.
10 years old?
Yeah.
Double digits.
Yeah.
What's it like being 10? Do you like it?
I don't know. Like, it just feels normal.
Okay, okay. What are you learning right now in school?
I'm learning about triangles in math and like angles of triangles. And I'm learning about like forces on structures in science to like build a thing to hold up against like forces.
So you're learning about like bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind of triangle?
I like acute equilateral triangles.
Nice. Are you, would you say that you're good at math and geometry?
I don't know. I'm pretty good, like, compared to my class.
You seem like you got a good head on your shoulders there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite subject in school?
Gym.
Oh, so you like to you like gym.
Yeah.
And then in gym, because like when I was 10 years old, we used to do a lot of different stuff in gym. What's your favorite part about gym?
I like playing basketball because we play basketball a lot.
Do you play basketball here on the court?
No, the court was full and I didn't bring my basketball, so no, I didn't.
That's okay, and maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yusuf, if you could tell the world about something, what do you think the world needs to know?
I don't know. I don't really have, like, think about things I want to tell people a lot.
Why not?
I kind of, like, everybody already knows, like, a lot about me, and I don't, like, go to, like, new people. I usually just sit around the people I know, and they know about me, so I don't really tell them anything.
That makes sense. Well, Yusuf, I'm a stranger. I don't know anything about you.
Yeah,
Does that
I
make you feel
know.
awkward?
a little bit.
That's fair. So how can we help you get more comfortable with talking to strangers and putting yourself out there?
I don't know. Whenever I talk to, like, a random person, I feel, like weird. And, like, because, like, they're completely random and I've never seen them before.
But that's the best part. You know what helps me, Yusuf? Curiosity. If I get interested in the person, they typically get interested in me.
Like, what do you mean?
So if I have a new person that I'm meeting, all I have to do is put myself in a state of mind where I'm like, that person is super interesting. I'm going to ask and ask and ask and be super curious because I know nothing. I don't know anything. And what happens is when I start doing that, then they get interested in me.
Okay. But, like, how do I get the confidence to, like, go up to people?
I used to do this trick. I would go to people and I would say potato.
Okay. And what did they do?
What does it make you feel like you want to do?
Like this?
Or give me a fist bump.
Oh,
French fries. And that's it. And I would walk away. And I would do that to everybody that would pass me. And the more that I did it, I got over those butterflies in my stomach. Because everyone would laugh. At first they would be like, what is that? Like the way that you were. You're like confused. You're like, what is that? But if they pound it, and I never say anything else, just potato. Potato? French fries. Like, it's fun, right?
yeah.
So that would help me get over the social anxiety, and I would make someone's day. You know, just a little sliver in their whole day, and it's memorable. They're like, who was that guy who just gave me a potato? That's so random.
Yeah.
So that helped me. And the other thing that helped me is just doing it over and over and over again. Because most people are never going to be upset about talking about themselves. So if you go up to people and you're confident about asking them questions and you make it about them, they're more than happy to talk.
All right.
I would say the thing that is a lot of people's mistake is making it about them. If you're going to go up to a stranger, don't make it about you. Make it about them.
Okay. So, like, if I go up to a stranger and it's, like, awkward, then what do I do?
Sit in the awkwardness like we are right now.
Okay.
The longer that you sit in it, the easier it gets.
Okay. So, like, okay. How do I, like, when I'm talking to someone, how do I, like start a conversation or something like that? To, like, talk to them more.
Well, the easiest way to do that is to find one thing about them that you're super interested about and ask them that question. Like, hey Yusuf, where'd you get your glasses?
Oh, okay. I got my glasses I got them like a year ago because I was having trouble seeing the board at school, and I told my parents, so they took me to the eye doctor, and then I needed glasses, so then I got glasses.
Nice. You see how easy that was? I picked one thing about you, I asked you, you gave me a nice story, and now we can continue the conversation. It's that easy. So, like, you see those people up there?
Yeah.
The lady has a tattoo on her knee. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I could be like, hey, I like your tattoo. What made you get your tattoo? Boom, conversation has started.
Oh, okay.
You see how easy that is?
Yeah.
Here, let's pick somebody else. Like maybe that kid in the red.
Okay. Maybe I could say, I don't know.
You could be like, hey man, I like your outfit. Where'd you get it?
So, like, what if, like, you can't find anything about a person that interests you?
Then you probably, well, I would say if there's nothing interesting about a person, why do you want to talk to them?
I don't know, like, if you were forced to talk to them for whatever reason, then what, like, how would you
Then you
start a
fake it.
conversation?
You lie. Hey, I'm really interested about that. I think just fake it. You know what I mean? Because they don't need to know if it's real or not.
Okay.
And it can be anything. It could be anything. Or maybe, like, just to make it easy for you, always go to their shoes.
Shoes.
You can learn a lot about somebody by looking at their shoes. My shoes, they're kind of beat up, right? I look like I go on a lot of adventures.
Yeah.
So if you look at my feet, you can go, immediately you can say, hey, Stev, your shoes look really worn. Where do you, like, what do you do? Or somebody else over there, like, look at all those guys in those flip-flops. I'd be like, hey, is it really comfortable playing basketball in flip-flops? And they'll be like, yeah, it's super comfortable. I do it all the time. Conversation started immediately.
So, like, wait, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, I have no more questions.
Okay. What are you going to do for the rest of the day? Are you going to go back on your scooter?
No, I'm probably just gonna, like, play games or something. I don't know.
What games do you like to play?
Minecraft,
Nice.
Roblox,
Nice.
a bunch of games on my Nintendo Switch,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
What's your favorite game on the Switch?
I like Mario Kart,
Nice.
because the new Mario Kart just came out, but
Do-
I can't buy it because it's on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it's too much money.
It is pretty expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Yusuf. Well, thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, it was a good talk.
It was a great talk. I think you did great. And hopefully you gained a little bit of confidence that you can go sit down and chat with someone. You did it on a podcast. That's pretty awesome.
Okay, yeah.
And we're going to end it with a potato. French fries. Thank you so much, Yusuf, for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Enjoy your Minecraft session at home. We're almost reaching 2 hours now. We could end it here. We had some great guests. The first time out here in Oak Ridge is just speaking of strangers. We had Shiva, Kimya, Yusuf, Victoria, Roman. I think that's pretty good. But I want to get one more. I just don't know who it could be. Who could it be? It's also getting a little bit cold. I'm going to put my sweater on, guys. Now, I don't... No. We've interviewed kids before, actually. But that was only on New Year's. And I will say, I need to get better at interviewing children. I think I got better at it, like, halfway through the conversation with both of them. But it's interesting because kids are as raw as it gets when it comes to, like, consciousness. And if you notice something, they were willing to say, I don't know. And I think that's really important to anybody out there to understand, like, if you don't have an answer to a question, not only is it okay to say I don't know, but I think it's actually really good to say it out loud and to accept that you don't have an answer to something, because then you can work towards the answer with the person that you're having a conversation with or alone, right? If you admit, like, hey, I don't know, that's the first step to, like, gaining that knowledge. But if you trip up and feel like you have to have an answer, it makes everything so much heavier. And I also think it, like, trips up your ability to then find a genuine answer, especially an answer that's your own. I also genuinely liked having a conversation with Yusuf about confidence. I think that's important for a lot of people nowadays to have the confidence to chat with strangers and not feel like they can't, you know, not feel like they're super awkward. I want to get one more person. I'm determined. I don't want to leave until I get my last interview. Maybe it really is it. Maybe we'll pack up. We'll go. Traffic's died down. I think it's because it rained. Less likely to come to a park post-rain. So that makes sense. There's some people playing volleyball off out of frame. There's a group relatively far away from me. But behind me, it's empty. Skate park's empty. I think this might be the end. Yeah, we'll pack it up here. We'll pack it up here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button, follow us on Instagram, check out our Patreon where you can watch the full unedited episodes, and go chat with a stranger. Go chat with someone on your next bus ride or your next subway commute or your next walk around your neighborhood. Just strike up a conversation or throw them a potato. And until we upload an episode, I hope you guys have a wonderful, exciting, fruitful life. Genuinely. Everybody watching, I want the best for most people. Even bad people. I want what's best for them, which is like probably to stop doing bad things. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace.